Good evening, everyone, and welcome. This is Spirituality in Action, and I remain your host, Clement Etuk. With me on the program is Daniel Akpanumoh Mark. He's a teenager and a student of the Sunday School of Christian Science. He's a lifelong Christian Scientist. You can call him that. You're welcome to the program, Mark.
Thank you for having me, sir.
Awesome. Together we'll be treating the final episode of the topic, leaning on the sustaining infinite. And today's episode will be taking a teenager's perspective. So I'll just go straight to it. What does it mean to lean on the sustaining infinite? And how do you accomplish this in your everyday life?
Okay, I always love viewing the sustaining infinite as our Father, Mother, God, who is unchangeable, omnipotent, that's all powerful, omnipresence, that is He is everywhere, and omniscience, that is He is all knowing, which guides, guards, governs the universe and man in all his affairs. The opening page, that is the preface in Science and Health, begins with the comforting assurance that to those leaning on the sustaining infinite, today is big with blessings. My parents are practicing Christian scientists, and so I was born into Christian Science and learned the Christian Science way of life early at home and in the Christian Science Sunday School, which I started attending from childhood. In the Sunday School, I learned some poems which are strong affirmations and which my parents have always encouraged me and my siblings to recite regularly right from when I was quite small, and did not even know what each of these poems meant till I grew up and began to appreciate the meaning and potency of these poems as prayers. Two of such poems are, the first one is, I know that God is where I am, beneath, around, above, providing, guiding, guarding, encircling me in love. While the second one is, Father, Mother, God, loving me, I am thy child, all is well. As I grew older, I got more interested in leaning on the sustaining infinite, God, and took what I was learning in Sunday school very seriously. My then Sunday school teacher always insisted on a very important aspect of Christian Science, which is vital to who each one of us is. That is our identity. He taught us that our true identity was not that of a mere mortal, subject to sickness, sin, disease, and death, tossed around by the weather and every thinkable human woes. Our true identity, my true identity, is that I am God's child, created in His image and likeness, and I reflect all the beautiful attributes of God. So does everyone. But to be able to apply this, you must first know who you are as God's child. With this in mind, I have been able to conquer fear, sickness, and several other negatives by leaning solely on God, the sustaining infinite. I practice relying on God by praying, by having faith and trusting in Him in any situation, by understanding God better and better every day in my daily activities. I rely on God by understanding my true identity as God's own image and likeness. I rely on God by knowing that He would see me through in tough times, even though the situation seems uncertain and overwhelming. And by doing this, I feel freer, stronger, and healthier. The first verse of a Christian Science hymn states, I walk with love along the way, and oh, it is a holy day. No more I suffer cruel fear. I feel God's presence with me here. The joy that none can take away is mine. I walk with love today. This hymn reminds me of the significance of totally depending on God. Let me narrate a brief situation that is relevant to this topic. When I was in secondary school, just last year, I was not used to standing in front of a crowd to talk, no matter the age group. There was a school event for science students, and several other schools were invited. The principal and all officials of the school were present. The high point of the event was a quiz competition, and without any previous notice, the coordinating teacher sent the head boy to me that I have been assigned to be the quiz master. At this moment, the only thing I could do, so I won't panic, was to pray and realize that God was with me, and I was going there to express infinite wisdom and mind. Strangely, on getting there, I realized they did not provide answers for the quiz, and I practically had to start answering the questions myself to know if the invited contestants were providing the correct answers or not, in order to award them their points. It took quite a while before they brought the booklet with the answers. In all of this, I stayed calm, and God supplied the wisdom and knowledge for me to handle the situation, just as if I had earlier prepared for it. I was grateful that I was able to express myself freely while carrying out this task, and was also surprised on how I did what I did and how I was able to handle an unexpected task through God's guidance. Truly, leaning on the sustaining infinite was the key, for divine love always has met and always will meet every human need. I've finished answering the first question.
Okay, Mark. Okay, that was very good. Did the were you able to compare the questions, the results, with the results that were finally brought in?
Yes, I was able to compare the answers I gave with the results that were finally brought in.
And it was
I
very
was
accurate.
giving correct answers. Yes.
Awesome, awesome. Okay, now let me ask you this. One of the most difficult things to accomplish is consistency in keeping that way of life. How have you been able to clearly do that?
Like they say, it's often easy to climb to the top, but maintaining that spot is often a different ball game. Failure begins when you start seeing yourself as this very clever person and start taking the glory. The Bible clearly states that we should trust in the Lord with all our hearts and lean not unto our own understanding. In all our ways, we should acknowledge Him, and He will direct our paths. Nothing less is acceptable, especially in our world today, where technology, devices, and peer group tends to keep one away from purpose and objectivity easily. It is important to be focused, disciplined, listen to guidance from one's parents, intentionally move away from any negative activity and acquaintances. When you constantly practice what you know, you will continue to improve at it. My parents consistently teach me and my siblings to pray, sing hymns, read our Bible lessons regularly. These Bible lessons contain our church's weekly sermon taken from the Bible and Science and Health by Mary Baker Eddy, our denominational textbook, and sing hymns. Two of such hymns that we sing are I'll be stating the first verse for each hymn. The first one is, "What is thy birthright, man, child of the perfect one? What is thy father's plan for his beloved son?" While the second hymn is, "Our God is all in all, his children cannot fear. see baseless evil fall, and know that God is here. If we must carve out the perfect image of Christ, we must consistently look at the right model, else we would not be able to carve it out perfectly in our lifestyle. Students are often under pressure to pass their exams, especially the terminal exams, Primary 6, GSS 3, and SSC, and so all manner of malpractice goes on in most schools. But my upbringing has always been about studying hard, praying for God's direction, and trusting that He will sufficiently lead me all the way, despite all the social pressure around me from mates and even teachers in time past. When we come to trust God and lean on the sustaining infinite for wisdom, for health, for supply, and all other wants, it is important that our trust is 100% in Him, and divine love will always lead us all the way. This is a summary of my personal experience. Thank you.
That's good. That's great. That's great. I would, if time permits, I would have loved to hear you sing that first verse, the first verse of that hymn.
What is thy birthright, man?
Exactly. What is thy birthright, man? Can you quickly give me?
Yes, I can.
Okay.
Let me sing it. What is thy birthright, man? Child of the perfect one. What is thy father's plan for his beloved son?
And that is it. That plan is very, very good. Thank you, Mark, for thank you, Mark, for everything. For inquiries, don't worry, Mark. We'll get to you soon. For inquiries and comments, get in touch via email to spiritualityonpoint@gmail.com. I'll take that again: spiritualityonpoint@gmail.com. Or you can also reach us by telephone 08033333803 or 08062314394. I'll call the numbers again: 08033333803 or 08062314394. And if you want to get the book Science and Health with Key to the Scriptures mentioned by our guest here, as a book whose idea is open up the spiritual substance of the Scriptures, you can make your request directly by sending an email to the email address that was stated earlier, or you can reach us by phone. Thank you. Looking forward to seeing you to be back on air next week. Thank you, Mark, for being a wonderful guest.
Thank you, sir.
See you next week.